So much for inviting me to be here. Cody Irwin, founder of Sharewares in Vancouver, Canada. A little bit of background on us. I guess we were a corporate food service company only before the pandemic for 10 years, as we're helping out technology companies manage their in-office kitchens. So anything from snacks and beverages, groceries, coffee, tea, all those fun goodies, we provided those to these tech offices. We are actually in the process of transitioning the whole industry over to zero waste with bulk food systems, tap systems, kegerators, things like that. When the pandemic struck, all offices closed and we dropped 98% overnight, one day. So as devastating as this was, it actually ended up being a huge opportunity. We were able to repurpose 10 years worth of resources with the government support to set out on a bigger, better mission to end the world's waste crisis. But why do we have this waste crisis? Why are we sending 4.7 trillion pounds of trash to dumpsters and incinerators into the land and into the environments? Well, it's because of us, of course, and it's because of our addiction to convenience, our addiction to the convenience throwaway culture. But how do we compete with something that's been ingrained in us since the 1950s? All of our software and systems, supply chains, everything has been dialed to make it super efficient, super cost effective, and perfect. Well, I guess the solution would have to be exactly the same as it is for us for as single use. So simple, convenient, accessible, affordable, and plug and play into our existing infrastructure to allow for rapid scale. So that was the foundation that we based things off of when we designed and created and launched Sharewares in fall of 2021. We based our model on the deposit model. So ubiquitous around the world, widely used and very effective. One major problem with it is the people have to go to a depot and they have to deal with cash. It doesn't matter how clean your depot is. People just don't want to do it. It's an inconvenience. It needs to be just as easy as single use. So we designed that out of our system with our software, so you could pay a deposit when you get your product, like a cup of coffee, pay a deposit on that cup, and then when you return it, you scan a code, and then we refund you digitally right into your bank account. So we proved out that our system can work across industries: cafes, restaurants, grocery, theaters, festivals, film, event spaces, food trucks, anywhere that there's food service, our platform, our products, and our software can work. We also proved out that any waste stream or anywhere that there's a garbage or recycling, there could be a collection bin or a collection system right next to it or parallel with it. So we have in-store bins, we have public bins and street sides and plaza. We have plazas down in downtown Vancouver. We can do home collection, condo collection into their common waste rooms. Same thing in office towers. We can collect directly from offices themselves, and the best part is it also works as this depot system as well. And the important part is that makes our technology completely optional. People can return their items for cash. So in the entire value chain, from supply to collection, there's no technology needed. It's super simple and plug and play. And it also is affordable and accessible to everybody in the community, because everybody is a part of the waste problem, not just people that have cell phones. So because of the success of our software and how it works and how the whole platform works, we got some pretty cool partners. Tim Hortons is a Canadian favorite brand, coffee chain, and then Skip the Dishes, the last mile delivery, like Uber Eats and Uber Eats and DoorDash. So there's a Canadian company, and they're like, I guess, the third runner to those companies. City of Vancouver, and then Return It. We're partnered with them for collection of our public street side bins. So we thought that people would be lining up around the corner to try to get on this system, because everybody's environmental, right? Everybody supports the planet. We thought businesses would be banging down our doors trying to get in. But as perfect as this system is and how well it works and how it plugs directly into existing infrastructure, we're getting a lot of resistance from businesses taking on our services and signing up. So it's like, what the heck? What's going on here? Like, all in the news, everybody's like, climate action, yeah, let's stop global warming, let's all be environmentalists. We see all this stuff on the news, and trees being shaken, and like, this is happening, right? Action is actually happening. But what's actually happening is people are disbanding after these street protests, and when you turn off the news, and they're going back to their day lives, lost in a sea of billions of other people. Their sustainability is not a top priority. And I get it. I understand it. People are busy. People are just trying to survive. People are trying to pay their bills, trying to feed their families, trying to start a career, become successful, make their parents proud, get a few minutes on Instagram to do an infinite scroll. I get it. So what we're actually doing is we're just all preaching to the choir. We think things are happening, but they're not actually happening. And what the reason for that is services like that were provided in our first world countries, like garbage disposal and pickup, the cleaning up after us, cleaning our mess up. So we're not seeing this problem. We're not seeing it in our day-to-day lives. So we're getting together and we're going to beach cleanups, make ourselves feel good. We're picking up our 6 bottles off of our nice first world beaches or whatnot. And we're like, oh yeah, no, we're doing something. But what we're doing is we're just hiding it. We're making we're making it all go away so we don't see and feel the problem and the crisis in our day-to-day life. So we have absolutely no urgency to try to fix it as a collective. Now, if we saw this and we felt this and we smelled this in our day-to-day lives, we would do something. We would go to arms to fix this. But there's no city council in their right mind that would just stop pickup services, in our countries at least, that would make people see it to actually go to action. So nothing's really moving. Everything's just at the snail's pace, even sustainability in general, because the people that actually can make change don't feel it, don't feel the stress of it. It's not like a pandemic where it was like, oh, we need hand sanitizer, and everybody and their brother was making hand sanitizer. We actually started making hand sanitizers, or one of our first pivots. It was great. So, if people want it, right? And that's why the cup feet failed. People didn't see a problem, especially with a cup. Like they're like paper. Oh, it's waxed lined, right? Oh, the lid's going to be recycled. No problem. 100%. That's what they're telling us. There's no problem with this. So why are they putting this fee on it? Now they're making up narratives like these businesses. They're just greedy and hungry. There's this cash grab. That was like the main line that kind of crushed it. Was just everybody like cash grab, cash grab, cash grab. But they didn't actually see what was like why this was a problem. But with plastic bags and things like that, those bans stayed in place. We saw that. We had decades. We've seen animals with plastic bags inside of them, rivers filled with plastic bags. So we kind of get it. There was pushback in a lot of the bans that have been happening in Canada. There's been pushback on it for sure, but it stayed in. None of thing got repealed. And same thing with like the straw on the turtle's nose. That video changed the world overnight. Within years, countries were banning plastic straws. No one wanted to be seen with that. You're socially canceled. So that was a catalyst that happened that changed things and was very effective at changing behavior. But with single use, people do not see it, do not feel it, canceled. So what are we going to do? We're going to listen to this guy. Some of you should recognize him. This is Crystal's partner Derek at Green to Go. Great guy. I don't know if you met him, but you should. He's a brilliant guy. So a couple years ago when we were doing our research, I got to chat with him and a bunch of times. So we've been chatting ever since. But in one of our conversations, something really hit home. He said, Cody, do you know what reuse needs to work? I said, what does it need, Derek? He said, Tom fucking Cruise. So he said, and he's right. Well, the sentiment at least. I don't know if Tom Cruise has the star power anymore to push the needle, but that sentiment. We need the cool kids, not just in reuse, not just the Gretas. We need everybody that's cool, or not even everybody, a lot of people that's cool to push the needle in this outside of this whole sustainability realm. They're the ones that set social contexts and social boundaries that we follow within. They're the ones that make things cool. They're the ones that make things sexy. They make things desirable. They share these things out. We hit these network effects that cause trending, virality. They're the ones that pull us in, tell us what to do, because that's all we want. We want people to tell us how to function in life so we can get back to dealing with all of our stressors and our paying the bills and all that kind of stuff. Don't spit, don't steal, don't litter. We don't do those things really anymore because that's a social boundary that was set from us. And as soon as the people are on board, that's when the magic can actually start happening. These when people actually want it and they're demanding it, that's when businesses are going to start demanding it and wanting it. They're going to be banging down our doors trying to get all our services that we have because they can make money on it. They just want money. They want to stay in business. They want to be profitable. I'm not saying that they're greedy on it. They just want to have a successful business, and it takes money. And if people aren't demanding it, they're not going to offer it. And then entrepreneurs can get on board, start being this positive feedback loop. More people see this opportunity. There's money here. They're going to be putting their own money in it. Brands are going to be putting their own money in it. They're going to be just carpet bombing this whole thing because they're going to see the opportunity. They're not going to rely on government grants. It's like 60% of the businesses in Vancouver in zero waste went out of business in the last 2 years. It's not helping. And then the politicians too. Politicians just want your votes. Whatever the people want, they're going to make happen. None of these 25-cent fees that like, oh, we're going to try this thing out, or, oh, it didn't work or whatever. They can have bigger batteries, fees, $1, $2, like that's going to cost change. And people are, if they want it, they're going to be like, yeah, make those people pay, so they're going to do whatever the people want. And when the people start wanting it, that's when it's going to happen. This is the first step. Governments getting on board and doing policies, absolutely. That is a backstop. As soon as people are like, hey, stop stealing my chickens back in the way day or whatever, and then they put in a thing to do that, that was when people said, stop stealing. And then the boss is like, all right, we're going to put in a law because everybody's saying this. It's a backstop. And the businesses will get on board too. But the first step is getting the people. And that's how we're going to come together and change the world. That's me. I guess my last question would be like, what are you all doing to activate the people and getting them all jazzed on reuse? Thanks very much.